All right, hello everyone. We are back for the last speed run of tonight. We got the Phantomire with Contra Hardcore. And
Hello.
yeah, like I said, super jazz for this. Contra Hardcore is such an awesome game, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll let you kind of explain what's going on here. And this is the Japanese version, but we'll let Fanto talk more about that. So go ahead, take it away when you are ready to go.
Okay, well, I'll do the quick little intro and then I'll let you all do your thing. We're going to be playing Contra Hardcore, Japanese version. Two reasons for that. We want faster text. This section here scrolls way, way, way quicker than the North American version. The other reason is we have a health bar. So we get to do some funky tricks with D-boosts and being able to just have some general safety. And I realized that I forgot to say when time was, and that's when I touched the floor. So we're about 6 seconds in. I'm going to get world record here because we're going to just not start the timer until we're done the stage. That sounds like the way to go.
I absolutely think that's going
Works
to be
every time.
We get the VOD, you retime it, everything's good. Don't worry about it.
So one of the things that you're going to notice is that I am going to be sliding a lot, almost as like a Mega Man game. Wherever it is that I can slide, I'll do it, but I can't jump out of slides, so I'm going to have to be really careful when that happens because we don't want some random unnecessary deaths here, unless we just want to make this a scary low percent run. Which is marathon, why not?
Yeah, sure.
Why not make this game
it might
more
end
difficult?
up being that way anyway, because marathon. It might end up being that way anyway.
Yeah, we'll go from my PB like 2 hours ago to doing the worst run that I've ever done, just because that's how marathons work.
How did this take 14 days? I don't understand.
PB.
So, from what I understand from this game, there's also one of the cool things about it. Sorry for stepping on your toes here, Phantomire. Is that there's different decisions you make through this game, and they give you different endings, right?
Yep, absolutely. You're not stepping on toes at all. So yeah, what's going to wind up happening is you're going to see two branching paths in this game right off the bat. So for when I kill this first boss, we're going to have a yapping sequence that, even if it is that you can read Japanese, I'm going to go way too quickly, so you can't possibly read it. You're going to see me you can select either going to a lab to rescue this scientist, or you can see me going off to chase after this assassin that's trying to kill me. In this particular route, we're going to be choosing the second option. I mean, assuming that I don't miss menu. We're going to be choosing the second option and go to the lab and rescue the scientist here. And then beyond that, there's actually two other paths at one of the later levels. So there are actually 4 main endings of the game, and then there's a super secret Castlevania ending as well, which is just a really goofy thing that gets tossed in the middle of the run. It's hilarious, and I love everything about it. I accidentally, when I did it, because it is a secret end, when I first played this game, I was actually playing co-op with my friend, and he just jumped up on this wall and started climbing up, and I was like, no, dude, the boss is this way. And then all of a sudden we just transitioned to this other screen, and it's like, wait, whoa, what's going on here? Did we break the game? And then sure enough, we get this like really strange ending, and it's like, oh, okay, life is happening. We're going strange places, but let's go with it.
I remember seeing you're like, hey, wants to do the Castlevania ending? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Like, oh yeah, you're here, let's go. And you showed me, I'm like,
yeah.
This is amazing.
So one of the things that you're going to notice as I go along is that I'm going to be using the C weapon whenever it is that it's humanly possible. The reason being is that it does a lot of damage per second, but the way that it actually becomes optimal is you're going to see me trying to shoot off of the screen as quickly as possible. So you'll see me on bosses and a lot of enemies trying to aim like directly off the screen and be as close to them as possible, because the faster it goes off the screen, the faster you can hit the enemy and the more damage that you do. And because iframes are basically non-existent, like you can just absolutely chug along with just tons of damage. And it's really interesting because this game is obviously notorious in terms of its difficulty, but I get to have the pleasure of actually having a lot of things be easier as a result of the speed run, and that's because once you know some of the patterns, there are certain spots where you can just stand in a single spot and just obliterate things, and then you get to like really show off and be like, look how good I am by standing here in this corner. And this next boss is going to be one of those things. I remember when I first started learning this run, I was so irritated because I was going into it totally blind, just trying to practice routing. It's like, I don't want to have any prejudices here. I don't want to know what other people are doing. And then when I found out that I can just sit on this wall and do this, and I don't move. I just sit here and do nothing. And that's it. That's the boss. And then he plays with his little Lego blocks, and then I'll shoot those down, and then I shoot him again, and that's it. It's done.
There we go. And yeah, one of the other things, like he made Phantomire made mention of the life bar in the North American version. That doesn't exist. In the North American version, this game is angry.
Yeah, it's brutal.
A lot
That
scarier.
guy just wants to put together his Lincoln Logs, and you're killing him. That's so rude.
I'm just trying to build a castle.
That's so rude.
Yeah, he started it. It actually, one of the things, he actually started it, I think, 5 years ago, because that's the last boss of Contra 3.
Oh.
So this is actually canonical.
Okay, yeah, he deserves it. I mean, if you can go
Oh,
back
yeah.
and kill him again, that'd be fine.
Yeah, anybody who's played Contra 3 knows how absolutely ridiculous that boss is, especially on
Yep.
hard mode. So it totally deserves being easy for once.
Yeah.
Because on hard mode in
You're not
Contra
wrong.
3, that's where like dreams and hopes go to die. It's horrible.
Yes.
This is super accurate too. I also like it's like, what do we do with this bust out VW? Melt it down for scrap? No, build a rocket launcher in it, idiot. Okay.
Duh.
I love
Well,
this
I
fight.
wasn't supposed to get hit there. That's not good. Okay. I'm supposed to I was about to make this big old grand speech about how I stand in one spot and don't get hit, and it's super safe and an easy boss, and then I got hit. So I'm glad I didn't say that. But I'm also not supposed to say that either. So, oh damn it!
all these secrets being revealed.
I mean, all of that was intentional. Ignore me.
There you go.
Everything's cool. Don't.
Speedrun
Snip it.
strats.
It's manipulation. It's all good.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
RNG
this.
minutes.
I love this boss because it's just like what?
Shoot the constellation.
Okay.
I was gonna say, it's like
So
I'm being attacked by
you've given me
Cassiopeia.
the worst pattern. So the ideal thing is I'm just supposed to kind of stand in one spot and shoot up, and then it decided to just be a jerk. So we did that instead. But this second one is generally a little bit easier, which is quickly compensated by this third one that's a jerk that can go anywhere and do anything and just waste a whole bunch of time. And it's doing its time waster pattern. Thank you.
So, James, totally off topic, by the way, but you will all probably think this is adorable. Our cat went and lost his main collar the other day. So we had a backup, so it was fine. He just comes walking in and he's using the original collar for a toy.
Well, okay.
He's having
That's
great fun
awesome.
batting it around and picking it up.
So,
Also, a big fan how the current boss is basically like daily horoscopes that you're fighting.
And
Yeah.
now a crossword. Or
The true Zodiac
Minesweeper.
killer.
it's yeah, it's just like this boss. It's a trip. That's the best I can say about it. It's like behold my.
And by the way,
oh, go ahead.
those kind of like mid transitions on that boss, I'm not actually doing any damage to it. I only do that so that I can get a whole lot of extra points. Just because I'm going to be taking some deboosts later and some probably in some intentional deaths. So as many lives as I can get is probably the better, particularly in a marathon with a beast of a game like this.
Mhm.
But then see, this is another one of those moments where it seems like everything is absolutely terrifying when you first come to the stage. But if you just walk forward with literally any weapon and just shoot, you're never going to get hit. So it's like, oh, well, mystery over. That's now super easy.
Well, we did it. But yeah, remember this part gave me a little bit of grief when I played through it. Oh, yeah,
Oh, that's because it's horrible.
yeah, yeah.
This whole game is pure torture.
Oh man, but there's also what we're not seeing is that there's three additional characters in this game too. Like,
Yeah, and each of them play very differently from one another. They're actually all separated on the leaderboard because the times that you can get from them are so drastically different, and they have some really fun strats. All of them basically kind of have the same thing as Sheena, where you're depending on one weapon. In the case of Brownie, the little robot, you wind up using this one ball and chain weapon that you can actually abuse hitboxes on bosses and lock on before they can do anything, and you can basically do like infinite damage. And so some bosses don't even really move and you kill them. It's kind of neat.
Brownie's
By the way, that was
so
the
fun to play.
derpiest sock puppety looking dinosaur I think I've ever seen.
Yes.
Puppety-looking dinosaur I think I've ever seen.
I'm made of plaster of Paris.
It's like the dinosaur park that I saw near Miami. It's like the dinosaur park.
So this boss is the run killer. Its RNG is changed frame by frame, so there's not really a way to manip it. And there's two ideal patterns that you want where it basically doesn't do anything, whereas that one was a really crummy one. At least it didn't bounce all around, but you can honestly, once you get to an upper level, that this thing can kill runs. Thankfully, it's halfway through the run, so it's not nearly as atrocious, but it's brutal. And going back to that dinosaur, a fun fact about that I just learned practicing this, like, I don't know, yesterday, because it's like, oh, I should probably prepare for marathons. That's probably a good thing to do. I found out that even in the Japanese version, if you have full health, that dinosaur can breathe on you and kill you.
Really?
I didn't know that.
Will you?
Is it only if you
Yeah.
is it only if you attack him as well? Like that's the other condition for it or no?
No,
Oh.
no, just does it randomly.
Oh, that's angry.
Yeah, I wasn't particularly pleased by it.
Like,
I went to go just slide over the pit and just have a jolly old good time, and yeah, it killed me instantly. Killed my run, and I was like, oh, please don't happen in a marathon because I will lose my good weapon, and there won't be a place for me to get it back. That's good.
oh, this.
So this is the auto scroller of this game.
Oh Lord, he
just-
coming.
So there's
Oh Lord.
two things that can happen. Like, you can't actually do damage on this, so you can just let it kind of fly around and you just hang out in the bottom corner and it really doesn't do anything. It'll swipe its blades at you every now and then, or you can bounce it all around the place and make it just go nuts, making things scarier. So let's do that. Why not?
Ah!
Oh, it's not going as crazy. I'm actually kind of disappointed. There we go. Hello. But generally, if you just stay in that bottom corner, you're not much of a threat. There are weird spots with this where you actually don't really do anything. Like this part, you just kind of sit and let the screen do all the work. Like, I'm not playing with my hands at all.
It's like the Jesus walking rondo. You're just like, well.
Yeah.
It's like the Jesus walking rondo.
I've just let Contra take the wheel.
I'm good. Everything's fine.
So this is the worst thing that it could have done. I really didn't want it to do that. So now I'm going to take an intentional death. Fun fact about taking intentional deaths is so long as you equip the bomb, you won't lose any of your weapons, which is another reason why running on the Japanese version is so great, because then you have that safety buffer like that. So this is the one tiny component that changes based on the route. This bottom part, it shoots homing missiles, but only if you've taken the lab route where you haven't killed the assassin, and that's the only thing that changes. Nothing else. And it's like a non-existent threat. Like, I don't know why they decided to add that one solitary thing, but it's there. It just exists.
Man, that thing just wants to get away from you so badly.
Like, I know it's using a wheel, but it looks like it's just using tiny little legs. It's like, I'll get away as fast as I can.
Please,
Yeah.
I just want to go home and eat my hungry man. Leave me alone.
It was practicing social distancing before it was cool.
I think
So
it just wants
this-
to. I think it just wants to end up in like molten metal and then put its thumb up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like, let me end it, please. Please.
So that's another one of those bosses where if you have your upgraded machine gun, you just stand in one spot and shoot it. You don't do anything. That's all. You take the deboost and that's it. So that's why I took that intentional death, is just to make sure that I was able to take that deboost.
Heckin' betray. Oh no.
I almost selected the wrong option there.
Whoops.
There we go. We're fine. Everything's good. There we go. What happens if I combine these things?
Yeah, so we got a lot of mad science experiments, and it's some of these can get kind of interesting in terms of like if you don't know what you're doing. This is one of the ones that can become a really weird threat when it decides to do that. Because if you don't kill it quick enough, it's just like it flails about like mad. So I'm hoping this one doesn't hurt me. There we go. Thankfully, its shots go away when you kill it. Otherwise, that boss would have an entirely different strategy. So that little flower there is actually, we kind of want that if you're in a more casual run, because it will drop a whole bunch of weapons and bombs and stuff like that. And some of the new routing actually depends on getting a bomb there, which I am far too lazy to wait for RNG to get the perfect run that way. So the better players can do that. They're more patient than me. And now all of these science and experiments are going to backfire. And he's going to get all gobbled up. And then we got the last boss of this stage.
Anybody watching, this entire boss fight was the Island of Takamuro. That was the entire movie right there.
You don't need to watch it anymore.
Yeah.
So also the important thing to note here is sliding in this game does give you iframes,
Yeah.
which is super handy.
That was actually a really good boss fight. That was, if I were actually starting the timer properly, that probably would have been a gold split. But I guess we'll never know.
Until, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm interested to see how the retime would be on this one.
Oh, that was actually a really good boss fight too. Okay.
Yeah, this one has more. I think this one has more mini bosses in it than Bloodlines.
Yeah, there. So we wind up seeing these three bosses separated here, and so there's going to be a third one coming up, and then they combine into a sort of like a transformer thing, and then it becomes three other bosses of the same boss. And it is just ghoulish because it can just do anything at any time and like completely waste time, and there's nothing you can do about it, because this form, you can kill the form, and then as soon as they die and they're gone. Whereas the end forms, there's nothing you can do to stop a particular pattern. So if you got a really crummy pattern, you just have to wait for it to finish. And that's it. Like, you're stuck. And so it can just waste a gargantuan amount of time. So let's see what the Transformers give us.
Keep our fingers crossed.
I'm really hoping what we want to see from this one. I'm going to take another intentional death here. Is we want to see this one jump and do some like cartwheels. And of course it didn't. Because why would it? It's a marathon. That's what it should have done initially. And see, this is where it sucks, because this pattern, you can kill it without it doing any other pattern. It's guaranteed to die with basically any weapon. But instead, we just wasted all that time. So this is one of the worst endings to try and go for a good time for, because you have three bosses that are like mega RNG heavy, and there's nothing you can do to manip it unless you're a human task, which I don't think I am.
Not yet.
I could be wrong. This is actually the pattern that we wanted to see from this one, because then I could just sit kind of close to the corner, do that quick shot, and then take it down. And then this one, we want to see him. I don't know why I said him. We want to see it just shoot straight up, and it's not doing it on. Oh, wait, no. It's going to do it. It's going to show some mercy. And then ideally, the target is going to be closer to it, because then we can shoot the laser shots and damage it quicker. There we go. So the second two cooperated quite well. The first one was pure torture.
The first one's like, yeah, no, you're not getting the freebie here.
Yeah, all the no's all at once. So we want that bomb. Oh, no. We don't want any of that to happen, but we got through it. That's okay. Ideally, you want to go through without getting damaged, but we'll make do. So now, after they threw all of those robots at us to try and devastate us and take us down, instead they're going to make human cartwheels and do gymnastics, because that's the way you take down Shayna.
This one, yeah.
I'm getting some Strider flashbacks. I'm getting some Strider.
I am just going to go out and say it. I hate this boss. I think it's so stupid.
Quickly,
I hate everything about this.
Bob, what are you doing?
They're just asking you to kill gymnasts at this point.
Yeah.
Just asking you to kill gymnasts.
Cirque du Soleil didn't work, so they're just like, oh yeah, let's join the army.
It's a nice fallback.
I'm pretty sure that's the natural path that people take.
The walking human pyramid. How is this a threat? I gotta go.
I forgot about guns. Shit.
Come on.
Yeah, why would we use those? That's foolish.
Walk at them in the worst gait possible.
So this guy is just awful. So we're gonna be. There's a safe strat where you can use bombs to take him out. So instead of doing that, we're just gonna not do it, because I don't know. I feel like being risky. I want to use the bombs at the last boss because it saves a lot more time there. But the problem is that if you lose the C weapon, then it kind of mitigates that time loss. But hopefully we can get it on the rocket as we shoot into the sky. Kind of Contra 3 throwback here. Except for that, instead of that horrible run-killing horizontal stage, instead we're going vertical, and it's a lot more tame.
Okay, good. So it's the vertical missile stage from Contra 3.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the opening to Saints Row 4, right? Yeah, okay.
Basically.
Perfect.
That's where Saints Row got its inspiration.
I would not be shocked at that. Remember me? I'm back. Who are you?
For one last time.
Ah! Then he turns into a pinwheel of fire.
I will admire his determination.
Oh no, you've only got one White Claw left to float on. Oh no, you've only got one White Claw left.
Whatever
good, there's a
will
bigger
I
one.
do?
Oh, never mind.
Good, there's a jumbo White Claw. Sweet. Good, there's a jumbo White Claw.
Okay, there we go. We're weapon back. There's a deceptively small window to be able to grab that weapon. So as much as it is that it looks like, oh yeah, by the way, he got that. That's no problem. Oh no, it is a problem. I have killed many of runs trying to grab that weapon. So we're going to be shooting this a few times and then switching to our bomb. And this is what the big moment that we've been saving all of our bombs for. So one form down. And this is another part where, like, I've heard so many people talk in a panic about how annoying this part of the boss can be, but I chose this different strat of standing still and shooting up. I found it works really well because I don't have to do anything.
If something gets in your way, turn. If something gets in your way.
You stop
So
him
now
trying to
one
grow my
bomb.
arms out.
So ideally, it should just take 2 bombs, and there we go.
Nice.
And we are done.
Sweet.
Ooh, yeah. Also, my favorite thing about Contra is that, at the end of the game, what we should do? What? Screaming Nightmare Terror. There you go. Done.
100%.
Every Contra.
This
Fantastic
time,
run,
in a
man.
this time in a giant metal tube.
We'll alternate it a little bit.
Gotta keep it fresh,
Not just any screaming terror, tube terror. And there we go. That's Contra Hardcore. Thank you so much for having me. That was an
Thank you.
absolute
That was
blast.
so
Thanks for
good.
joining.
This was rad. I give Phantomire a follow, please. I threw his Twitch channel in chat. It was fantastic. I love going to his streams. Granted, I've been more lurky McLurking, but still, awesome times. It's just great. Thank you so much.
Gotta
Phantomire.
respect and love the lurker.
Truth.
Workers pay the bills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very.
After all this time, they've paid a single electric bill.
Hey, that's better than a kick in the pants.
That
You
can't-
betcha. I love it.
You can't beat it at all. But yeah, once
No.
again, thank you so much, Phantomire. I was so glad. You're like, no, I applied. I'm like, in. Let's do this. Let's go.
Hell
Giddy
yeah.
up.
That was
Perfect.
Contra Hardcore
Well-
is just an amazing game, and yeah, no, you're an outstanding guy.
Aw, no thank you.
I do what I
We can
can.
continue the rest of the marathon just complimenting me.
Okay,
Believe me, my
let's-
ego will let that happen.
That's fair. That's quite fair. All right. So with that being said, Phantomire, before we let you go, do you got any final thoughts for us?
No, just thank you so much for having me for such a wonderful event. It's such a great cause. It was an absolute pleasure to run in this and just be a little bit casual in contrast to this incredibly tense game. And shout outs to the hardcore Discord, because there's been a lot more activity lately, and I'm encouraging everybody to go and check this game out, particularly the Japanese version. It's a lot more accessible. Myself and some of the other runners will just gladly give you as much advice as we can to try and get more people into this, because it's a great game that deserves a lot of attention. And this time, all for a fantastic cause.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
make sure you donate.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it also that is available on the Contra Anniversary Collection, which is amazing. Which I would.
Yeah. That's what I just played on. It's actually my preferred way to play the game, because then you get to use modern controllers and everything like that. I don't think that the Genesis controller was designed for human hands, so I much prefer a PS4 controller.
Man, I'd feel bad for anyone who just bought a Genesis. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Phenomenal games, confusing controller.
It's okay, Paul. We're laughing at you.
I still love it. And it's not like I definitely have incredible crash dummies. Oh, no, I do.
Oh no.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. All right, guys. Well, that was the Phantomire. Thank you again. That was our last speed run for Saturday. Yeah, let's give a round of applause. Thank you to all of our runners on...
You've all been great.
Yeah, you guys have been amazing. Thank you guys for volunteering. However, we are not done with speedruns. Tomorrow we will have the Castlevania speedrun block. It'll be kicked off with Holy Roman Emperor, myself...
No, actually, that's
Freya.
incorrect, Paul.
What?
It'll be kicked off with Haunted Castle.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we got to do Haunted Castle. I'll maybe fire that up a little, or maybe fire up the stream a little early, just so we can get Haunted Castle out of the way, because I would love that. But, yeah, we... yes.
Sorry, I derailed the whole thing.
No.
Yes, there will be Haunted Castle, but there will also be Castlevania speedrun starting at noon tomorrow, noon Pacific time.
Yep.
What time do you want to start Haunted Castle?
We should probably maybe knock that out, maybe 11:30, so that way it doesn't eat into
Yeah.
that. And that's mentioned. Yeah, we'll do that, and then after Haunted Castle, I will go ahead and get the Bloodlines prototype set up as well, so we can do that, because you guys helped hit that $250 goal and then the $500 goal. So thank you guys for doing all that. Bloodlines prototype is going to be a trip. You will want to tune in for that, but. Up next is the return of No Caritas, and we need to prepare for that. So we're gonna have a little bit of a longer break here,
Yeah,
because
this-
after that we get into Spooky Block as well.
Yeah.
We have.
By the way, how
ahead.
did we come up with the name of Belmont's Bannerman?
Is someone asking, or do I have to make up an
Yes,
answer?
someone asked.
Oh, it was, I think, about 2 weeks of emails back and forth, and I was trying to go for an alliteration name. Other people were trying to make it a more serious thing, but I'm like, I don't know. James does speedruns for Castlevania, and Paul does speedruns for Castlevania, and I kind of just threw it
We
out
all
there.
like Castlevania.
Yeah,
Yep.
so everybody, yeah, I think the four of us are okay with Castlevania enough. It's just like, well, I've been, watching too much Game of Thrones, and they're talking about the Bannerman. And so I was like, well, what about the Belmont's Bannerman? Because they come to the aid of the Belmonts, and they're a force of good in their world, and we're a force of good in our world. So,
Good.
Yeah. Danger quotes.
We're a force of something.
Yeah, anyway, that's why I threw it out there. And I think it kind of stuck because it's a little catchy. It's long. But I
Memorable, and no one else has it.
yeah. And nobody from Konami's going to come down on us because we're not a casino. Insider information.
Oh,
Let's
no.
go.
Oh no!
Also, someday I will finally sit down and draw our mascot, Belmont.
Oh god, yeah. There's a whole story
Yeah.
behind
That's
that.
its own thing.
But-
Anyway, to tell you what's going on tomorrow, we have so much Castlevania to start, followed up with a bunch of showcases and party games. It's going to run until 8-ish PT tomorrow. Everybody, who's been on, anybody who's watching now, give us a shout in Discord. We'll let you in wherever. But if it's a party game, we're going to kick that off at, what does that look like tonight? Or at about 6 tomorrow, there'll be some party games. Everybody can join in.
Yep. And if we hit the $750 goal, we might have another special treat for y'all on that one. But we're kind of keeping it a little tight-lipped until we get maybe a little closer to it. So we want to thank everyone who has donated so far. Thank you all again. And like I said, let's keep them coming. Let's keep raising money for a great cause.
Yeah, absolutely. So on that note, we're going to take about 15 to get it set up for No Corridas.
Mhm.
I think what James and Gwen, if you want to go ahead and hang out in the same room and use the same webcam, I think we can get away with dousing my computer in the proverbial flames of absolute dishevelment at least one more time to get that one off the
All
ground.
right, we'll do a hot seat, no corridas.
All right,
Okay.
sounds good, because I think our camera is going to work out pretty well.
Yeah.
But yeah, give us about 15. We got to get our liquids. We got to get our dark parties, and we'll be back soon.
Yep. Oh, and how many drinks should we prepare, by the way?
5.
5.
5. Okay.
I am the rule master of no caritas.
No, that just means we have to find 5 liquids that I'm okay with drinking that aren't like poisonous. So
Well, to be fair, the 5 liquids I have supplied for us are not gonna be good. I mean, they're all technically edible.
Edible.
Technically.
all right,
This is gonna hurt.
all right. We'll see you guys in
Generally
about
is.
15, eh?
We'll be back. Yep.